Villains. Through the ages, we have seen villains portrayed in many a different light. Some of the time we have seen them as non-human entities that cannot be reasoned or bargained with, meant only to appear as a terrifying force to be reckoned with. There are the sympathetic villains that are supposed to strike a chord with the audience. We have the calm and collected villains that appear to have everything thought through and are playing out their plan like it's a game of chess. Other villains hide in plain sight or are even so generic on the surface that they are completely forgotten about by society. Some of the greatest villains of all time that we'll be discussing today are as follows: Vader, Homelander, Negan, Hans Landa, Gus Fring, Lou Bloom, Terminator, Alien and Predator, Joker, and Anton Chigurh. So if any of these characters or respective films interest you, please stop watching now to avoid any spoilers. Getting right into it, we have Darth Vader to start with. Vader is one of the most recognizable villains in cinema history, with all the characteristics of one mean, scary villain. Vader was deliberately designed by George Lucas to basically be a walking stereotype. If you take a closer look at Vader's makeup, it's quite easy to see how George created such a character. First off, Vader wears all black. He is tall, strong, has a deep voice, and an army at his disposal. So just looking at Vader for a second can show you how powerful he is, which is completely intended by the creators. But his greatness continues further than that. For people who follow Star Wars a little more closely, you'll know that Vader used to be one of the most powerful of all Force users, a title which he still holds up in the original trilogy. What makes Vader so compelling, however, beyond his appearance and power, is his unique connection with the main protagonist of the story. It's no secret today that Vader is Luke's father, which explains how Luke is so powerful. It helps to set up the plot, where we watch as Luke has to defeat his own father and fight against the darkness that took hold of Vader many years ago. Darth Vader is truly an icon when it comes to villains, and a hallmark for all those to come. Easily one of the most terrifying yet brilliantly written villains ever created. Homelander is basically the story we've all seen more than once, Superman gone bad. But Homelander manages to capture many people's attention due to how he exists in his respective world. Homelander is the leader of a group of superheroes called the Seven, which are more or less just the Justice League, each of them having their own similarities, except for Translucent, who is more so a plot device than a character, and Starlight, who is meant to stand out and be her own character from this world's Justice League. The group on surface level are your average superheroes, or supes as the show calls them, where the media report them as superheroes who save the day from the usual things, bank heists, gunmen, and even suicide attempts. As the show quickly puts into perspective for us though, the heroes are really drug-fueled narcissistic serial killers with the advantage of powers and media cover-ups. Homelander, the strongest hero in existence, is shown to be absolutely terrifying because of how strong he is. Seriously, this guy makes Vader look like a toddler waving around its toys in a tantrum. Homelander proves how powerful he is many times throughout the show, by easily taking out planes to just casually killing multiple people, just because he can. Homelander is also terrifying because of his very unbalanced mental state. He's shown throughout the show to have slight personality disorder, which to be honest reminds me of those scenes with Harry and Norman Osborn from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Inside, there's two warring thoughts going on through his head. As demonstrated, we see him arguing between doing the right thing and the wrong thing, suggesting that inside he still has the capability to distinguish right from wrong and do the correct thing, however he rarely, if at all, does. Here is a clip you may have already seen, which in my opinion highlights almost everything that the audience finds most terrifying about Homelander.
What are you drinking?
Shake Shack?
Oh.
You want one? I'll go grab a PA.
Oh, no. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
see you got the extra whipped cream in there, huh?
Yeah.
Yummers. Guess you wanted to cram in as much fat fuck as possible, huh?
Did I do something wrong?
You think I haven't seen you? Shoving back 24 cupcakes in the break room. 9 servings of Miro's truffle risotto night.
Hey, man. You know, I need 30,000 calories a day.
Maybe when you actually ran, you did. But now you're just eating your feelings, making us look ridiculous. Fastest man alive, what a fucking joke. What did you say?
Nothing. Nothing?
What did you say to me?
I'm sorry. Shit. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it.
Say it.
I'm sorry.
Say it!
Sorry. I'm sorry.
If you've ever seen The Walking Dead, you'll know about this mesmerizing character, the fan favorite. The only character I know of that can kill off one fan favorite and then become a fan favorite. Negan is truly an amazingly written villain, as he is immediately shown to be a force to be reckoned with. The show sets him up perfectly by showing the audience how much of a badass Rick is throughout the season, as he takes over a town, becomes the leader, and proves his worth. The threat of Negan's appearance is hinted at for a while by the ever-increasing amount of a group called the Saviors. When Negan finally does turn up, we see every image we had of Rick and his stoicism shatter in real time. Rick becomes completely afraid and unable to clearly think as Negan monologues in front of them all. It can be a truly effective method for making a good villain if you have a well built up protagonist that seems like they're at their peak, then all of a sudden a villain comes along and destroys the hero. This makes the audience understand how powerful they must be compared to the now belittled protagonist. Really helps show a sense of scale.
It can be me. It can be me. You can do it to me. I can go with you.
No. This is the only way. Rick, pick up the axe. Not making a decision is a big decision. You really want to see all these people die? You will. You will see every ugly thing. Oh my God. Are you gonna make me count? Okay, Rick, you win. I am counting. 3!
Please. It can be me. Please.
2!
Please don't do
This is it. 1!
Just do it. Just do it.
You answer to me. You provide for me. You belong to me. Right? Speak when you're spoken to! You answer to me. You provide for me.
Provide for you.
You belong to me. Right!
Right.
Right. That is the look I wanted to see.
A more grounded villain compared to the last few that we've discussed, but no less intense. One thing that makes Hans Landa earn his place on the list would be his intelligence. In just about every scene that Landa is in, he demonstrates his cunning and forward thinking. Landa is, just like the others excluding Homelander, a equipped with a seemingly unstoppable army which makes him all the more intimidating. Hans is especially well written because in every scene he always makes sure that he has the upper hand over everyone else in the room, whether that be an intellectual one or a power one. The opening scene from the movie is easily one of the most tense scenes in cinema history.
Now, my job dictates that I must have my men enter your home and conduct a thorough search before I can officially cross your family's name off my list. And if there are any irregularities to be found, rest assured there will be. That is unless you have something to tell me that makes the conducting of a search unnecessary. I might add also that any information that makes the performance of my duty easier will not be met with punishment. Actually, quite the contrary. It will be met with reward. And that reward will be your family will cease to be harassed in any way by the German military during the rest of our occupation of your country. You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
Yes.
You're sheltering them underneath your floorboards, aren't you?
Yes.
Point out to me the areas where they're hiding.
Few villains can remain as grounded and believable, yet as spectacular and cunning as Gus Fring, the most famous villain from Breaking Bad. Gus is notorious for how intelligent and calculating he is. Whenever we see him in the show, he is always completely calm and seems like he has everything already thought out, which the audience is led to believe he does. The only time Gus ever shouts is right before his death. Vince does love his symbolism. Gus is such a great villain because of how he acts under pressure and how he always manages to set up situations where he is the one in control. Within the first few episodes that we get to know Gus, we watch him have his boss killed in his own house. We later on see Gus killing the entire cartel with Mike and Jesse. If that wasn't badass enough, there is plenty of situations throughout his time that he nearly kills Walter in the most tense of scenes.
You do this, all you'll have left is an $8 million hole in the ground. This lab. This equipment is useless without us, without Jesse and myself. You have no new product. You have no income. Your people up there will not be paid. Your distribution chain collapses. Without us, you have nothing. You kill me, you have nothing. You kill Jesse, you don't have me. You won't do this. You're too smart. You can't afford to do this. Please, let us just go back to work. We're here. Let us work. We're ready to go to work. We'll just pick up right where we left off.
One of the most captivating villains to watch. What makes Lou so scary is how manipulative he is. Something we don't often see in movies, or at least not to the same degree that we see Lou portrayed. Throughout the movie, he is attempting to make money any way he can, which is usually through unconventional methods. Once he discovers nightcrawling, which is recording accidents and violent crimes for the news in the evenings so they can play in the morning, he manages to get his foot in the door and moves up the ladder, so to speak. Lou hires a desperate employee, blackmails the lady responsible for buying his footage, and towards the end starts to tamper with the crime scenes. First we watch him get to a scene before the police and move the bodies for a more cinematic camera shot. Later on, Lou tampers with his competition's car, making them crash and become seriously wounded. Lou not only takes out the competition, but also gets paid for these shots. Pretty clever. We then see him again manage to get to the scene before police. In fact, he gets there so early that the home invasion is still going on. Once the men leave, Lou catches their license plate on camera and enters the house, again filming in a live crime scene without the police. Realizing the potential of it, Lou plans to get his biggest payday yet. He understands that the more violent the crime, the more he gets paid for it. Lou waits for the men to go into the fast food restaurant later on in the movie, and then reports the men to the police. When the police arrive, they start a shootout and a car chase that Lou follows, knowing he's going to get paid a lot of money for this. Finally, he tells his partner to get a shot of one of the dead men, knowing full well that he is alive. When his partner goes in to film it, he ends up getting shot. Lou does this to make sure he doesn't have to split the money with anybody else. Truly a scary character, and one of the most uniquely written I've seen so far.
He's dead! Get this shot! Steady hands! Use your zoom.
Saw it. You saw him.
I can't jeopardize my company's success to retain an untrustworthy employee.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
You took my bargaining power, Rick. You used it against me. You would have done it again. Just admit it.
I don't know. I don't know.
I know. I know.
Not too much to say about these three, but I lumped them in together because of their striking similarity. Each character is set up to be a seemingly unstoppable force meant to hunt down the protagonist. They are intimidating because of their sheer strength and determinism, plus their designs are absolutely fantastic. I mean, just look at them. When you see one of these characters coming after you, it would be a truly terrifying experience. The Terminator, Alien, and Predator also work because the movies all make likable characters to follow, giving you an extra feeling of dread when the character you have become subconsciously attached to is put in mortal danger by these creatures. At those points,
again, it just works.
It's a very simplistic way to make a scary villain yet super effective.
Am I Claire Lambert? I want to get the hell out of here.
Oh, God, it's moving right towards you. Move, get out of there. Moving towards you, move. Dallas, move, Dallas. Move, Dallas, get out. Oh, no, not that way, the other way, God. Dallas? No.
Take it easy. Dallas?
We did it, Kyle. We got it.
What is it? Billy. What the hell is wrong with you? There's something in those trees.
Where do I start with this one? Joker is one of the most recognizable villains in superhero history. For this example though, I'll mainly keep to the movie versions, but I'll reference the comics a little too. Joker is easily one of the most terrifying on this list in a more physical sense. Joker is always a sight for sore eyes, and in The Dark Knight what makes him so terrifying is how ruthless and psychotic he is. A man who is willing to at any time sacrifice himself to get what he wants, no matter how big or small, is truly scary. In the movie Joker, Arthur is a down on his luck man who is forgotten about by society, and after being beaten and bullied, he eventually rises up to kill 3 men and igniting the spark in a tension-filled city. What makes Joker a terrifying villain in this movie, however, isn't so much his power towards the end or his madness, but rather the thought of how much just one man can accomplish by himself. What makes it especially believable is that the entire story is grounded in reality. No superheroes or miracles, just one man in the world beating on him. Joker as a whole, however, comic book included, is one of the most terrifying villains to exist, because, who is willing to cut off their own face to prove that they are actually scary? Joker is a man ready to lose everything at any time in order to get what he wants, and that is a truly terrifying way to write a character. However, I would say that this rule is slightly more unique than the others.
I killed those guys because they were awful. Everybody is awful these days. It's enough to make anyone crazy.
Okay, so that's it. You're crazy. That's your defense for killing 3 young men?
No. They couldn't carry a tune to save their lives. Oh, why is everybody so upset about these guys? If it was me dying on the sidewalk, you'd walk right over me. I pass you every day and you don't notice me. But these guys, what, because Thomas Wayne cried about them on TV?
You have a problem with Thomas Wayne, too.
Yes, I do. Have you seen what it's like out there, Murray? Do you ever actually leave the studio? Everybody just yells and screams at each other. Nobody's civil anymore. Nobody thinks what it's like to be the other guy. You think men like Thomas Wayne ever think what it's like to be someone like me? To be somebody but themselves? They don't. They think that we'll just sit there and take it like good little boys, that we won't werewolf and go wild.
You finished? There's so much self-pity, Arthur. You sound like you're making excuses for killing those young men. Not everybody, and I'll tell you this, not everyone is awful.
You're awful,
Murray. Me? I'm awful? Oh yeah, how am I awful?
Playing my video. Inviting me on the show. You just wanted to make fun of me. You're just like the rest of them.
You don't know the first thing about me, pal. Look what happened because of what you did, what it led to. There were riots out there. 2 policemen are in critical condition. You're laughing. You're laughing. Someone was killed today because of what you did.
I know. How about another joke, Murray?
No, I think we've had enough of your jokes.
What do you get
I don't think so.
when you cross
I think
a
we're
mentally
done
ill
with your
loner
jokes.
with
That's
a
it.
society that abandons him and treats him like trash?
Call the police,
I'll
Gene.
tell you what you get.
Call the police.
You get what you fucking deserve.
Anton is a textbook psychopath, and one written very well at that. Anton is a hitman for the mafia, but always acts in his own self-interest and completely disregards everyone else's feelings. Anton is quite a scary villain because whenever he's on screen, he either kills someone or comes very close to. The Coen brothers specifically made this decision to try and make the connection between Anton and death not too dissimilar from other people on this list, so that every time he's on screen it makes the audience tense and nervous. He uses a coin when he isn't sure about killing a person. The writers use this, of course, to exemplify random chance, which is a reoccurrence in the movie. Anton is yet another terrifying villain because of not only this, but his skills as a killer and his willingness to do harm whenever he's on screen.
How much?
69 cents.
And the gas?
Y'all getting any rain up your way?
What way would that be?
I seen you was from Dallas.
What business is it of yours? Where I'm from? Friendo?
I didn't mean nothing by it.
Didn't mean nothing.
Just passing the time. If you don't want to accept that, I don't know what else I can do for you. Will there be something else?
I don't know. Will there?
Is something wrong?
With what?
With anything.
Is that what you're asking me? Is there something wrong with anything?
Will there be anything else?
You already asked me that.
Well, I need to see about closing now.
See about closing?
Yes, sir.
What time do you close?
Now, we close now.
Now is not a time. What time do you close?
Generally around dark, at dark.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Sir?
I said, you don't know what you're talking about. What time do you go to bed?
Sir?
You're a bit deaf, aren't you? I said, what time do you go to bed?
Oh. Somewhere around 9:30. I'd say around 9:30.
I could come back then.
Why would you be coming back? We'll be closed.
Yeah, you said that.
Well, I got to close now.
You live in that house out back.
Yes, I do.
You lived here all your life?
This is my wife's father's place originally.
You married into it?
We lived in Temple, Texas for many years. Raised a family there in Temple. We come out here about 4 years ago.
You married into it?
That's the way you want to put it.
I don't have some way to put it. That's the way it is. What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Sir?
The most you ever lost on a coin toss?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Call it.
Call it?
Yes.
For what?
Just call it.
Well, we need to know what we're calling it for here.
You need to call it. I can't call it for you. Well, it wouldn't be fair.
I didn't put nothing up.
Yes, you did. You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it. You know what date is on this coin?
No.
1958. It's been traveling 22 years to get here. And now it's here. And it's either heads or tails. And you have to say, call it.
Well, look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything.
How's that?
You stand to win everything, call it.
All right. Heads, then.
Well done. Don't put it in your pocket.
Sir?
Don't put it in your pocket. It's your lucky quarter.
Where you want me to put it?
Anywhere not in your pocket. Or it'll get mixed in with the others and become just a coin. Which it is.
To conclude, there are many unique ways to make a terrifying villain. There is no one trope that every villain on this list shares, making them all unique yet arguably still as equally terrifying in their respective universes. Villains are a broad group, and I'd love to talk more about specific characters so that I can go more in depth with them. But anyway, that's probably going to do it for now, so thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. If you found any of this entertaining or helpful, feel free to like and subscribe. It really goes a long way in helping me out, but that's about it for now. See ya.